So what we're going to do is just chuck these into the drill. Battery died on that last video, sorry about that. And we're going to trim. Make sure the drill is in forward. And let's see where we're at now. .749. We are good. Let's do this one. If you notice that had a little bit of wobble in it, make sure you get it all the way down in the shell holder or else that will happen. Let's see if it's better now. Much better. 1.750. So you can see the lead trimmer, cheap way to get very good results. But if you're doing a lot of brass prep, you're gonna get tired doing this. It will wear you out. But for small batches, this works great. And actually when I reload my 6.5 Creedmoor and things that I do precision, I actually prefer to use this because I get very good results with it. Okay, next we're gonna move on to this guy. This is called the world's cheapest trimmer. You've probably heard of the world's finest trimmer. This is a lot cheaper than that. You can find it on eBay for 20, 25 bucks. It does a pretty good job. All you have to do is use this set screw here. You find a piece of brass that's the length that you need, and you insert it in until it stops, and that's where the cutter is supposed to stop. Now I've had to tinker with it. I had to actually put a piece of brass that's slightly longer than what I wanted in there in order to get 1.750. But once you get it set, I just put a little dab of blue Loctite on there and it seems to have been holding. So we'll see. It's been about a week or so since I've used it. So let's see if it held. So I've got 3 more pieces here to trim with this. So let's get the Lee out of here. Oop, and I'll drop it on the floor. All right, and we'll just chuck this up the same way and make sure the drill is going forward, and we're going to insert the brass. And you can see it's the same concept. You stop cutting when you don't feel resistance anymore and when you stop seeing brass shavings flying out. So that one seemed to be pretty good, so let's move on. Okay, so you can see how much quicker that is. So let's see how close we are to 1.750. Wow, okay, this one actually has gone shorter. This is 1.744, which is borderline toss or convert to 300 blackout. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to it. Let's see where these are. Yeah, 1.744. So this has actually shifted. It's very consistent, 1.744 on all 3 of these. So what that tells me is this has actually shifted since the last time I've used it over a week ago. Now, these are still okay to load. I wish that wouldn't have happened, but you know, it is what it is. So I'm going to continue forward and show you the next step in this process. All right, so just about with everything with reloading, there's multiple ways of doing it. What I used to do was use this to chamfer and deburr, because what happens is when you cut the cases, you can see how thick the case mouth is now. And what happens is if you try to seat a bullet on that, it can scrape the bullet as it's going in, or the case mouth can actually be too wide and it won't chamber in your gun. So what we do is we call chamfer and deburr. So this right here is a Lee chamfer and deburring tool. It's very inexpensive. It's like $4 or $5. This cone end here, all you have to do is take it into the case mouth and just give it a few turns like this. And you can see now it looks a lot better. I don't know if that'll focus or not. Just like with the other Lee tool, if you're doing a few, this works fine. If you're doing a lot, there's a much better, more efficient way to do it, and that's what I'm going to show you next. So I'm going to save this brass for the next tool. You can see how thick that is. So I'll be right back. All right. I actually got this today. This is the Lyman Case Prep Multi-Tool. It's got several tools in one, and they all are contained in this little tube as a holder. The main reason I got this is because I believe that I can chuck these into my drill and almost make it like the powered case station. So I'm gonna open this up, and you're gonna see for the first time, I've never done this before. It looks like it should chuck just right up. We'll see. I'll be right back. All right, so I've got the tool out of the package, and I'm just gonna take this chamfer tool off the end of it. You can see here, it's pretty standard. There's a lot of these online, but this one has an end on it that we can chuck. Plenty of threads to chuck, by the way. I do not see this being a problem at all. So I'll just do all of these cases, even though we only trimmed a handful of them. So look, we're chucked up. Here we go. So you can see how quick this is compared to the lead. Try to get a better camera angle for you. Okay, wow, that actually did an amazing job. And you could tell that was much faster. So I'm very happy with that. I will continue to use this. This will be my method moving forward. I kept these two aside for a reason. These are the ones I trimmed with the world's cheapest trimmer. And you can't see it on camera, but there's actually a little lip of brass here. And so there's another step that we use. It's called deburring. And with the lead tool, what you would do is you would put the brass on the inside of it and give it a few turns like this. But this Lyman multi-tool has one as well. So let's take the other end off of it and chuck this guy up. And here we go. Now we can power deburr. Okay, once again, that worked very well. This is very dangerous too. Be very careful. This is very sharp. I was reaching over here. I could have very easily cut myself on that. So use this very carefully. Obviously, the same with any power tools, but this is very sharp. So at this point, this brass is ready to load if you wanted to. Now, I always throw this in my wet tumbler just to get it clean. It doesn't affect anything other than being able to see in the cases. Sometimes you can see the powder fill a little better, and it gets the primer pockets clean. But for plinking ammo, this right here would be just fine. But I'm going to go ahead and throw this in the wet tumbler. I have a Frankfurt Arsenal wet tumbler. I'll probably do another video specifically on that. But I'll show you what the brass looks like after coming out of a wet tumble. I've got more brass like this prepared, so I'm going to go ahead and do a batch of it, and I will show you what the batch looks like after it's wet tumbled. So you can see here, like I said, this is clean. It's just not polished. The stainless steel pins will actually kind of give it a nice polished look, but you can see they're kind of tarnished, and but they'll shoot just fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with them, and you can see they're chamfered and deburred now. They look great. So this tool I'm very happy with. I think it was $26 on Amazon. Money well spent. So I'll show you what the finished product looks like before it's ready to load. There's one more thing I want to show you that helps me out. A lot of times I don't do all of the brass prep in one session. So I made these little sheets in a word processor that as I do the steps, I check them off. And if I store the brass that's not finished, I will check these off and just include this in the bag. That way if I come back to it a week later, a month later, I know exactly where I left off and what needs to be done before it's ready to load. And what I'll do is I will actually mark boxes RTL, ready to load. That means all of the brass prep has been done and I can throw it on my press and go to town. So neat little trick that I have. Hope it helps. Okay, here is freshly wet tumbled 223 brass. It's beautiful. Looks like gold. Looks new. So this concludes prepping your brass to reload. And this procedure would be the same for any caliber. I just so happened to pick 223 because that's what I was working on today. So like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I hope this was helpful. Thank you.